So we've imported our clips into iMovie. Now we want to actually start making our movie, start editing, by getting these clips from the media browser down onto the timeline. To do that, all we have to do is locate a clip that we want to use, and I think maybe I'll start off with this clip right here. The simplest, most intuitive way of getting things from the media browser down into the timeline is to just click the clip, and notice how it gets a yellow outline around it, indicating it's selected. And then you can drag it from up there down onto the timeline. Once it's in the timeline, you might notice we've got all this extra stuff. We filmed this particular little movie like a movie, which is to say we've got a slate board and everything. So we've got to get rid of that. We don't want that in our final movie. So to do that, I'm going to trim this clip in place. And to do that, I take my pointer and I'm going to scrub to the beginning. And note in iMovie this concept of scrubbing, which is just moving the pointer across the clips. I don't have to hold down the mouse button, I don't have to hold shift or anything like that. Just moving the pointer across the clip scrubs you across the clip. So I'm going to scrub over here at the beginning, and note when I get to the left edge of the clip, the cursor changes. It changes into that bar with two arrows coming out of it. That's the trim cursor. So I'm going to trim the left edge, which is also known as the in point. I'm going to trim the left edge here until the slate board goes away and our guy starts to walk out from behind the column, but let's start with him not there. Okay, so I just trimmed the in point. I got rid of all that extra stuff that was over here with the slate board. So now as I scrub across this, there I can see he leaves frame, and there's a whole bunch of extra after he left as well. So now I'm going to trim the right edge, or out point. Notice again, when I put my pointer right over the top of that edge, the pointer changes shape. And I'm going to click and hold down and drag until I see my guy. Okay, and there my guy's gone. So now I have trimmed this clip. I trimmed the in point and I trimmed the out point right down there on the timeline. There's another way you can do this too. That way is to trim it in the media browser before it makes it down onto the timeline. In this case, I'm going to take some of the footsteps here, and I think I like this clip the best. He sort of starts walking and then he turns a little corner. That makes it kind of more interesting, and then he walks off into the distance a little bit. I think that's kind of nice. So in order to trim this clip in the media browser, I'm going to click on the clip and note how it gets the yellow outline. And in fact, there are some handles at the left and right edges. I'm going to grab the left edge, the left handle, which is the in point of the clip, and I'm going to wait until he's kind of established walking, so maybe like right there. Then I'm going to take my pointer over, and I'm going to grab the right edge of the clip, the out point, and put that like right there-ish. Okay, so now you can see that clip has a little bit of a rectangle inside of it. When I'm moused over it, it's yellow. When I'm not over it, it's white. I can now grab a hold of the inside of this yellow rectangle, and I can drag that down onto the timeline after the other clip. So now I've edited two clips onto the timeline. Let's watch it. I'm going to scrub back to the beginning, and I'm going to hit the space bar. The space bar plays it. There, guy walks, and he walks some more. So I got two clips edited onto the timeline. I want one more. I want to show off the location that they are. A lot of times movies start with what's called an establishing shot, and we did in fact do an establishing shot of this park, and we can see that up here. As I scrub across this clip, if you look really carefully, you can see a little guy walking into the park. And there he is right there. Kind of hard to see, but that's him. So I'm going to edit this clip up in the timeline as well. So I'm going to grab a hold of the in point, and I'm just going to move it so that the slate board goes away, and then we watch there in the corner, and there our guy appears. I'm going to back it off just a little bit. We want to give a little bit of time before he comes in. Then I'm going to change the out point, So I'm going to grab a hold of the right edge and drag it. Our other shot starts with him just appearing from behind the column. So this shot should end with him just barely appearing beyond the column. So now I've got this shot that I edited up in the media browser. I'm going to drag this one down onto the timeline, but this time I'm going to drag it in front of the other two. So I can insert this thing out of order, no problem. So now, let's watch it. I'm going to scrub back to the beginning, hit the space bar to play it, and there our guy comes in, and he walks out from behind the column, and he's walking, and I'm going to pause it there with the space bar. Okay, I'm going to scroll a little bit here, and there's our movie so far.